Hey everyone, Chris Kroll here, managing editor of Solar Builder with another episode of Solar Distancing. Today we will be getting into a concept that I think is interesting in terms of future-proofing your solar installation today to maybe add storage in the future. And we'll be doing that again today with Jeff McAndrew, the Director of Clean Energy Sales for Generac Power. I scrolled past your actual title, so I just kind of went off the fly there. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you nailed it, Chris. Good job.
Okay. Great. I'm really getting good at this thing. Well, hey, thanks for taking the time again today. So last time you were here, we were chatting about hybrid inverters, how one inverter can handle both the solar and storage, inputs, outputs here. And what's really cool about what Generac has is you guys acquired Pico, which was an inverter brand that I had, spent years talking with their owners, their leadership there, and I really liked the product that they had. We talked about the point that like solar is a 20-year plus asset, and maybe we don't think about that enough. Like a lot changes in 20 years. I think about 20 years ago from today. Everything that's different. So the concept of installing an inverter today that can handle storage, even if you're not getting into storage, is maybe a useful thing. So I guess, first of all, do you hear about customers that are concerned about their PV system being obsolete? Like, is that one of the factors of like, maybe they're not going to jump into solar today because it's like, well, 20 years is a long time. Like, do you ever hear like anything like that concern-wise?
No, it's not so much I hear about people worrying about their inverters being obsolete. I think they're worried that not worried, but they're shy to jump in because they think the prices are going to come down. It's not that the technology is going to be obsolete. It's more so, well, if I wait a year, is it going to be cheaper? But the reality is, with the ITC stepping down, the cost of solar is not decreasing at a faster rate than that incentive is going away. So get on board now.
Hey.
Yeah.
And so then interestingly, kind of to their point though, solar is at a great place right now, price-wise, but storage for batteries, we like that price is going to be coming down. So would you say that in a way, as my dog's ready to enter the picture here, I was waiting for that to happen. Hey, Bubs. He's really interested in future-proofing as well. So it's one of his pet issues. So would they be right in thinking that with the storage, the solar they install today, they should be thinking about maybe not going storage right now, but what that could be like in the future?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends why that homeowner is considering solar and storage in the first place, right? Like we've got a lot of homeowners who are buying storage today because their electrical grid is already unreliable, and they're dealing with power outages. Think in Northern California, where the grid is reliable, but the utility has to shut off power just as a safety precaution. I mean, those homeowners aren't saying necessarily, oh, I'm just going to wait. They're saying, how soon can I have it installed, right? Mm-hmm. But there are some homeowners who are in states where there's not time of use. They still have net metering. They have a pretty reliable electrical grid. And in those cases, if you're not concerned about backup power, maybe they don't need a battery today. Maybe the battery is not going to bring tremendous value versus the cost for them today, but there are a lot of markets where people either need that protection from time of use rates, demand charges, or they need the backup power.
Yeah. And I guess that's what I'm thinking too, is even if your area doesn't have time of use rates or demand charges or anything right now, again, like in 20 years, if a lot of people are installing solar, I mean, that's why they have them in those other areas, because now they're saturated with solar. So I guess I'm just getting to the point of the main question here is, does it make sense to install a hybrid inverter if you're just doing solar and really aren't even thinking about batteries right now? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It does. Yeah. The question makes sense, but also it makes sense for homeowners to consider having a hybrid inverter installed, because the only other option if you want to add a battery is AC coupling, right? And like we talked about before, when you introduce an AC coupled battery, you give up functionality and you give up efficiency. Okay, and now you have two different systems that are trying to play nicely together. Whereas if you buy a hybrid inverter and you add a battery to that system down the road, I mean, at least in our case, it's plug and play. You connect the battery to the inverter, and it's like connecting an iPhone to a MacBook. It pops up on the screen. It says, would you like to enable this device? Yes, I would. And your battery starts charging, right? It's kind of like you plug the iPhone into the MacBook and the MacBook says, would you like to transfer Chris's music? But it's really the job of the installers to help homeowners understand why they should consider a hybrid inverter, right? And the biggest things that come to mind to me are, number one, the electrical grid is aging, and we're seeing, climate change is the earth is getting a little bit warmer. Heat generates stronger storms. So we're seeing, an aging electrical grid combined with stronger storms that are coming through more frequently. We're seeing grid outages that have gone from like a 4-hour average duration to an 8-hour average duration, just because the grid is not prepared for these storms, right? So that's one aspect. The other thing is, because obviously, homeowner signs a net metering agreement, they're going to be locked in, right? But a lot of the homeowners who buy solar today are the same demographic of folks who are going to be looking at buying electrical vehicles in the future, right? If they don't already have one. And in most cases, they're going to have the opportunity to jump on an EV time of use rate, and being able to easily connect a battery to their inverter in a very efficient way is going to let them charge their battery, charge the battery of their car from stored sunshine, right? As opposed to paying, maybe double the kilowatt hour cost of electricity when they want to charge their car.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking electric vehicles, but that's another part of this idea of like future proofing.
Yeah, exactly.
So is there any disadvantages you could see to, just going right off the bat with the hybrid inverter setup?
I mean, the only disadvantage would be you're going to pay more for a hybrid inverter up front. But, Chris, the reality is today, installers are, the percentage of homeowners who are writing checks for these systems is pretty minimal. Installers are financing these programs and these platforms, and homeowners are in many cases paying zero down. They're just paying a monthly fee. And obviously, I might be biased, but to me, it makes sense to pay, maybe $5, $6, $10 more a month over the course of my loan or lease to have a system that's battery ready, and is going to be a lot more functional when I do want to add a battery.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. So I guess just last thing is there, where can interested either installers or customers, homeowners go to learn more, I guess, about what Generac offers in this way?
Yeah, absolutely. So of course, Generac.com, but Generac.com/clean energy is the place they want to be if they're looking to learn more information. Cool.
And again, I really like that Pica inverter, so I think it's cool that you've teamed up with them and added them to kind of your portfolio of items. Something for solar installers to be thinking about for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
All right. Well, cool. Hey, thanks for joining us today, Jeff.
Absolutely. Yeah, happy to be, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, and you, as well as everyone else out there, be sure to stay safe, stay away, but go solar.